G'day, welcome back. So today we're going to be changing the front wheel bearing, that's our new one, on the Audi 80. So this is a 1994 Audi 80 2.3 litre 5-cylinder 100 kilowatt engine vehicle. 100 kilowatts is important because anything over 101 kilowatts on this platform got a different size front wheel bearing. This one's, I think it's 75 mil outside diameter. The more powerful ones get something in the 80 odd mil range. So there is a parts difference between vehicles, but yeah, this is the right one for this. This procedure is pretty much the same for all Audi 80, 90, 4000, B2, B3, B4, Type 81, Type 85, all kind of this size front wheel drive or Quattro Audi front wheel bearings are done pretty much like this. The only real difference is earlier cars had a one-piece strut. This has got a separate wheel bearing housing, which makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, roughly the same deal. So here's our new one. It's all bagged up, comes with new axle bolt, comes with new circlips. The axle bolt, as you can see, it's got a 14 mil hex head. Not that common, so I had to go and, I didn't have one, so I had to go and get a new 14 mil socket, bit socket, so I could actually tighten it at the end. This is a Godor brand, never heard of them, but apparently they're kind of a decent quality tool maker. If you've heard of them, if you use them, comment below, because I certainly haven't and don't. So there we go, let's get into it. Nope. I just pop the wheel off, taking the centre cap out, put it back on so we can undo the hub nut. It's pretty tight. The one that's on there isn't the hex, it's actually a 24 mil bolt, but typically they are hex. We'll see if we can get it done. I couldn't undo it with the impact, so we'll try with the old. There we go. So that's now loose, so we can take that wheel back off. Right, so this is what we look like. There's our strut and our wheel bearing housing underneath it. There's a couple of big bolts in there we need to undo. Brake disc and caliper need to move out the way. Then we need to undo the bottom ball joint, push it out the way and take it all off. And also the ABS sensor, we need to figure out if we're going to disconnect it in the car or disconnect it down the bottom. Probably in my climate, can probably disconnect it at the wheel bearing housing. If you're somewhere rusty, maybe don't do that. Alright, that's the brake caliper brackets loosened. This brake hose always looks twisted, but it's as straight as it can get. It's quite annoying. Right, there's our caliper off. And a cable tied out the way here. I'll take the dust shield off, then you can see me undo the pinch bolt if you really need to. Just demo bolts. Look at that, however many years old, 25 years old, still rock solid. Our pinch bolt. ABS sensor, just a push fit, but again, if that's rested in, don't try and take it out. A couple of big bolts and we're pretty much home free. Need a reasonably deep socket, so I've got a wheel nut socket. It's only 22 deep I've got, I think. There's that. Bolt out. There's our prize. Right, so here's our hub and bearing. Let's see if we can hear the noise. Hold it by the mic. Yeah, she was pretty noisy. There's no play, but it's just noisy as anything. So yeah, it's fairly clear that that's the bearing. So let's push it out. Right, now the first job is to get the hub out. You can't really do that in a press because you've got to try and support it elsewhere. So if you've got a fancy setup, you could, but if not, you've got to go kind of old school. So got a wee drift, sits in there, got a BFH, got some air protection, and we'll give it a bash. Nice. Started, and we just need to raise this up so we can get the rest of it out. Bingo! Proper noisy now. Right, so on our hub here you see a wee step there. That corresponds to the step in the bearing, if you can see it somewhere. So make sure you get this the right way around. Run out of steam there. Drive that one in. No, I don't have a drift the right size, and there's still about 5 mil of that we need to push this in. So I'm just going to take a bit of material off the edge of the old bearing just so it doesn't get stuck in the hole when I use this as a drift, because we only want to push on our outside edge. So we'll go with that. Oh, that seems a wee bit better. We've got a bit of slack in there, so hopefully we won't get our bearing stuck, but we'll stop every so often and check, because we're not at home to Mr. Cockup. Fuck it. We're about there, it's kind of stuck, but we'll just wing it, because we've got to get it out anyway. So we'll just do it the once, eh? Alright, we'll bottom it out. See if we can get this bearing off. Ta-da! Well, next up we're going to put our hub on. Right, that looks to be our setup there. So we're supporting the inner race, pressing on the outer one, where we need to. Oh, I don't like the look of that, that's going to get stuck in there. Do that, we can do that. There we go. I think we're good. That's where it should be, that's where that should be. That's sounding good. Should be us. One out. Nice and smooth. So yeah, so there's actually no circlips. I haven't done one for a long time. I thought there were, but no, that's cool. It's much better than the old bearing, wherever that's gone. Right, go stick it on the car, see where we go. Right, so our wheel bearing housings connected to the strut, they're nice and tight. Calipers back on, the bolts are tight, lower pinch bolts nice and tight. Just need to do the hub nut up. So we'll pop the wheel back on and drop the car, take the axle stands out, drop it to the floor, then we'll tighten it up. 120 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. So we'll do that. And we'll torque the wheel nuts. Alright, so here's our big one. Got our Tool Pro torque wrench. It's 120 Newton meters. Plus 90 degrees. So where are we going to do that? Then our 90 degrees. Perfect. There we are, not too bad a job. Probably took about an hour all up with messing around. But yeah, the wheel bearing housing comes off pretty easily. And if you don't have a press, you can just take it to your workshop. They'll do it, charge you half an hour or whatever to swap the bearings out. If you do have a press, you see it's not too hard. Just need to get the right mix of bits and pieces to get it in there. From memory, I thought there were circlips in these, but there's not. There's nowhere to put them. There's no groove, so it's just how it is. It's held in by the drive shaft nut. That's nice and tight. All the bolts are nice and tight. Click to factory specs. So that's that. So comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you for some more Audi engineering or whatever engineering we get up to. And see you next time. Cheers.